Hey, everybody, welcome back. It's Sunday night. You know what time it is. It's time to talk music with one of the best music guys in the community right here.
Nice. That's not here. Oh, you got me.
Shout out to Zach's Collections for filling in last week. He's a great
show,
guy.
Guys. It was an awesome show.
Oh, he's a great guy, awesome friend, and great guy to hang out with and talk music. He's another music guy. So again, thanks, Zach. Appreciate you, bud. I really do.
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead and we'll say hello to some of the wonderful early birds here. My Life Sunny Side Up. Thank you, Sydney Cat, for the wonderful support. What a great person. Awesome supporter of the channel. And she has another channel, Sydney Cat, for her cat. So go check it out. It's awesome. We have Jim Maynard in the Card Kitchen. I'm not even going to attempt that, but hello, amigo. And I appreciate you being here. And Zach, again, speak of the devil. Appreciate you being here, Zach. Thank you so much. And we have White Sox Tom. Thank you for being here, Tom. I appreciate you. Danielle Davis. Thank you, Danielle, for being here.
Danielle.
She was one of my first subscribers and my first member of the channel. Huge supporter. Everybody go check out Danielle Davis. She's great. And we have the man, the myth, the guy from the UK, Gaza. Thanks for being here, Adam.
Gaza.
I appreciate you, pal. Great guy. Super awesome supporter of the channel. And we're going to talk about some UK music tonight. We're going to talk about a wonderful group that changed music forever. Changed them in the 60s. Again, changed them in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Pioneered rock operas. Again, Mike and I were talking backstage about Pete Townsend and what a great composer he was, and not just a guitar player, because I tend to lean more to him towards being a guitar player and a rock icon. And there's way more to it. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about this week in rock history as well. We have some really cool things that happened this week.
Very interesting.
It was. And again, if you didn't check out last week's live, it was great. We talked about Machine Head from Deep Purple, and Zach did a great job as well, hanging out with us, and we certainly appreciated that. And I got something in my eye, sorry. And I had a great time. Dewey, thanks for being here. I still never got your email, dude. I don't know what's going on. Glenn, thanks for being here, Glenn. Appreciate it.
What's up?
Glenn Robach, great guy. He's always posting cool throwbacks with his family and some really cool stuff about where he lives and sort of his area. So you go check out Glenn. He's a great supporter. And we certainly appreciate everybody coming in tonight. You can hit the like button. We almost have 10 in the chat just starting out. It's great. Trying to get up to 50 likes if we can tonight. That would be dope. And National Parks Princess, thanks for being here.
Like button, or maybe log into YouTube and help you out there.
Yeah, I know. I should do the same thing. Practice what you preach, right? Practice what you preach, boy. Yeah,
exactly.
No, I know. I got to do the same thing. All right, there we go. I got it now.
I want to do that. I want to do that. Oh, you and your damn commercials. That's what happens when you're monetized. You get commercials. There we go.
Yes.
Now we're up to 12 likes.
All right, perfect. Skip the commercial and hit the like. Oh yeah. That's what we do around here.
Might give me that extra penny and a half for that watching that commercial.
No, that works out to 1/3 of 1 cent. Yes. And for all you non-Canadian folks, that's about 1/10 of 1 cent.
Yeah. Yeah, with the conversion rate and all that other stuff.
Right? Oh my gosh. Well, I appreciate everybody spending some time with us tonight. We're stoked about this one. Mike, this week in rock history, I wanted to kind of dive in just at the start so we could give people time to come in and hit the like button and subscribe and all that crap. But one of the things I thought was really cool when I started to get into this idea of let's see what happened in rock history since the last time we were all together. It ties into Zach does history by mail. Huge history guy. I love history. But you found a really cool site where you can subscribe to get these notifications and this information.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a great idea, and it was some really good synergy last week when we came together with this. So without further ado, I'll start, and then you can do the next one. We'll go back and forth. How's that?
Well, we got to skip a few in between because there's a bunch of stuff in here that we really don't really need to talk about. But you can start it off. Go right ahead.
Perfect. November 23rd, 1970.
Oh, you're going from bottom to top. Okay, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I guess that's how my brain works. Yes, thanks, Danielle. George Harrison released My Sweet Lord.
Yeah.
And it was his first single as a solo artist and topped the charts worldwide and became the biggest single in 1971.
Also known as He's So Fine Part 2, because it sounds a lot like the Shirelles, He's So Fine.
It certainly does. It certainly does. Oh my God, what a great song. What a great song that was. That was awesome.
There was a lot of that going on back then, you know, consciously or subconsciously, you know, songs were kind of lifted in melodies and stuff like that. But it happened all the time. I mean, how many times did the Beach Boys lift something from Chuck Berry? Quite a few.
Or Led Zeppelin from all those Southern roots music.
Yes, because maybe nobody's heard about this yet, but eventually it does come out, and you know things get lifted and things get settled in court. But you know it is what it is. All right, so in 1974, the Rolling Stones scored their 5th #1 album with It's Only Rock and Roll, and this was in the United States. The album, which was the last Stones album for guitarist Mick Taylor, peaked at #2 in the UK. And I like Mick Taylor a lot.
Me too. Me too. Yeah, what a great guy.
He brought a new dimension to the Rolling Stones, especially on Exile of Main Street. That was probably my favorite Stones album of all time.
Oh, totally. Totally. Yeah. I like Ronnie Wood and stuff, but man, there's a different sound with Mick on guitar. It was
definitely different. Yeah.
It was more British Invasion. It was less 70s commercial rock. Again, Ronnie Wood being from the Faces. It sounded more Faces stuff versus pure Rolling Stones 60s stuff. What's this? Tom says Beach Boys played at Riot Fest with John Stamos from Full House this summer. Interesting.
Wow. I remember him on drums with the Beach Boys on one of their. It was I don't know if it was one of their tours or one of the. I think it might have been the 4th of July here in Philadelphia. I think they did a little get together, and it was like this. Across the front of the stage it said "See the Shining Sea," but they didn't spell shining right, and it came out to C2 Shinning Sea. So you know. It is what it is. We can't spell it.
Parrot Kitchen says my parody band did I only beat my and I like it. That's awesome, Jim. That's awesome.
Ain't nothing wrong with parody songs.
No, hey, every warehouse from here to USA and back is full of them. If you listen to the radio for a living, you have them.
Weird Al made a career out of it.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of radio songs and radio dominance, set 1975, November 23rd, Queen started a 9-week run at #1 with their infamous single "Bohemian Rhapsody."
Yep.
The promo video, excuse me.
Did you say Rap City? Like Detroit Rap City?
Detroit Rap City. If you know me, you know how much I don't care for this band.
There you go.
So anyway, the promotional video that accompanied the song is acknowledged as being the first pop video ever, and it only cost them £5,000 to make. And if you ask me, they could have saved themselves £4,999 by not doing it. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Sorry if you like Queen. It just goes back to my ex-wife used to force feed it to me every day. And as you know, with applesauce, eventually it gets gross.
You know, I appreciate Queen, but I'm not all head over heels for Queen and all of their songs and, you know, their catalog and stuff like that. I like some of their songs. I wish I would have seen them in concert when Freddie was alive. but it never happened. But I saw them perform Live Aid, and I just remember that hot July day in Philadelphia. I wasn't down there at JFK Stadium, but just watching it in my upstairs, and I know it was like 100 degrees up there. And when Queen took the stage, I knew I was watching history when they played Live Aid. It was just, yeah.
That was a historical day for sure.
No doubt. No doubt. So much going on that day. Well, let's go to 1979 with Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd releases Another Brick in the Wall 2, or Another Brick in the Wall Part 2 in the UK. The song rapidly topped the charts in the UK, followed by the US and further 9 countries, featuring children from the Islington Green School of North London. Let's see. It was the group's first UK single since Point Me at the Sky in 1968, and their first chart hit since See Emily Play in 1967. So
hell yeah.
That's considering it's Pink Floyd and they were not mainstream for a song like Another Brick in the Wall Part 2 to, jump up. I remember when that came out in 1979, I was a freshman in high school. And I remember one of the teachers saying, hey kids, leave this teacher alone, So
nice.
And he was a priest. Nice. He was a priest, so he knew it. So that was cool. So we liked him. We liked him.
That's epic. Actually, I have Another Brick single from Italy that is stamped. You ready for this? November 23rd, 1978 or 1979. It's got the stamp on it from the radio station the day it came out. Mm-hmm. And I got Point Me at the Sky at the same time from the same record shop.
Nice.
Point Me at the Sky is a great album. I love that single so much. Hey Doc, thanks for coming, man. Can you hit the like button, please? I'd appreciate it. Next off in my list, because I know I can't, Jim, but yes, exactly. Everybody, Jim Maynard, everyone. He's here all week. Try the meal. Oh, shit. That's awesome, Jim. So November 23rd, 2008, 15 years after their last album, Guns N' Roses, or better known as Axl Rose at the time, released the abomination they call Chinese Democracy. It was exclusively available by an electronics reseller, Best Buy. 9 years previously, Geffen Record had reportedly paid Axl Rose $1 million to finish the record, with a further $1 million if he handed it to them by March the 1st, 1999. And of course, he blew through that, blew through musicians, blew through friendships, and we all know whatever happened to that record.
Yeah.
In 93, November, they released Spaghetti Incident, which is really the last real GNR album with that lineup. And it was all cover songs of, punk rock songs and metal songs and stuff. But Chinese Democracy, let's be honest, sucked. It was a garbage album. I hate it.
Yeah, it was a disaster.
Totally. What a piece of crap.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to be that negative, but like, holy Lord, what a load that is. Like, I remember looking forward to it, and it was just blah.
I had something about Elvis Presley, and I can't find it. It's on one of my tabs, and right now I can't find it. Oh, man. I don't know. Maybe I lost it. I don't know.
I didn't note that one. I just noted the 5 that were that stuck out to me. There's more, but those were the 5 that I had noted down. Hey, Goody, thanks for being here.
Oh man, I can't find it. I wanted it. It was an interesting story. Okay, so I can probably remember it. I can't find the stream because I have so many windows open, and I probably closed it. I probably lost it somewhere, but yeah, it's gone. But anyway, okay, so let me go back to it. Apparently, there was this guy who was an iron worker, and he got a divorce from his wife because his wife was so infatuated with Elvis Presley. So this guy went out, found Elvis Presley, and punched him in the face. Okay. So he couldn't put up the bail, so he had to spend the night in jail. Now, in 1956, his bail was $19.60, and he couldn't put it up, so he spent the night in jail. That was the one thing that I remember from saying that. I thought that was kind of interesting.
That is interesting. That's very interesting, actually.
And like I said, I've got so many tabs opened up, and I can't find it. Oh, wait a minute. I think I just found. Never mind. Yep, it's pretty much the same thing.
Okay, Dewey, I just saw you hit me on Instagram. That's perfect, dude. Best way to communicate. Best way to communicate. Yeah, it's I do that too, and then I decided I put it all on Notepad. And then
yeah, I got to start doing that at some point. At some point in my life,
it's a cut and paste job, right? Most of the time.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. All right, so what do we got next there, sir? We're going to get it.
That's what I had for the ones that I had noted down. I know there's one more that we could talk about that I know of at the top of my head. Was Michael Jackson releases the single Black or White, or Black and White, or whatever it was, and Slash from GNR played lead guitar on that one.
Yes, he did.
Which I thought was kind of interesting.
And just like, you know, he gets the good guitarists. I mean, on Beat It was Eddie Van Halen, for God's sakes. You know?
And Orianthi Panagaris, that blonde girl, plays with Alice Cooper. She played with him as well. She's an amazing guitar player.
Yeah.
I saw her play with Alice Cooper during the 2012 tour, the Welcome to My Nightmare redo, which is cool. She's a great guitar player. So, yeah, Michael Jackson always got the good guitar players, eh?
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, he had the money. He could pay them. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, Eddie Van Halen did Billie Jean, right? Did the guitar solo
did
Billie Jean.
Yeah, he did the solo for Beat It. I don't know if
he did Thriller too.
No, he didn't do Thriller. No.
Oh yeah, that's right. And she's going out with Richie Sambora. Richie Sambora, that's the big rock news. Is he said he wants to come back and play with Bon Jovi, which it was amazing because the way Bon Jovi put it is he quit in the middle of the night, kind of like when you skip out on Rent.
He wants to come back and play with Bon Jovi, but does Bon Jovi want to come back and play with him? He
said he would. He'd give it a try.
Really?
So, you know, that'd be an interesting thing. That'd be worth going to check out for sure.
Absolutely.
Now, John Bon Jovi's still John Bon Jovi. You know what I mean? He'll outlive us all and still look better than all of us.
He's starting to age a little bit.
He still looks better than I do. Yeah.
Looks better than most of us.
I know. I still ticks me off. Oh my god. So we're gonna talk about the Who's album. Who's next? Let's go ahead and we'll put that up on the screen. This album here was an amazing record. There's so much to talk about with this album, Mike. We can talk about this for days. You and I both said that. So we'll keep this album cover up for a bit while we talk about it. And I made some notes, but before we really get into Who's Next, we really got to touch upon the original intent of the Lifehouse Project.
Okay.
And for those of you guys who don't know,
you know more about this than I do, so you can take the lead.
I know a little bit about it, not very deep, but I know enough to sort of have a conversation at least, which I thought was interesting because this sort of followed. No, we don't know who's on first, Chris. But thanks for being here. But we'll talk about the album. But the genesis of Who's Next came from the Lifehouse Project. The Lifehouse Project was basically Townsend's post-Tommy sequel to Tommy, and how he kind of came up with this idea was when they were touring Tommy. He came up with this idea that it's a science fiction rock opera, and it was weird. Like the earth was polluted, the people lived in like simulation suits, And rock and roll was like nobody knew what rock and roll was except for this one guy, and it's really out there. Like it's really really out there in terms of an idea and a concept, but I think it's brilliant. But the Lifehouse project has manifested 4 or 5 times since its original intent, but it didn't go any further after they recorded the first song, Won't Get Fooled Again, aka Teenage Wasteland. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how Who's Next came from this. Because, again, they abandoned this project to make a traditional rock album. And if you know anything about The Who, in the 60s, they were more of a singles band and less of an album-oriented band or a concept album-oriented band. And, of course, that changed with Tommy, and that sent them down this other creative, path or schism. But I think, to me, I think Who's Next is probably the best album, one of the best albums ever that they did. It's just my opinion.
It's the best single album that they ever did. And if you look at the recording of this album, they could have had a double album with this. There were a lot of songs that they recorded that they released later on different albums where they needed tracks to fill, because I'm looking at all the songs that were recorded and I was like, well, I know that song, but that's not on this album. I know that song, but that's not on this album. So
hey, Alan.
There was plenty of stuff that they were doing, and they were just trying to pare it down onto this album. So this album could have been a double album, which would have been the second one for them, and then the third one would have been Quadrophenia, which is another thing, because none of these songs that they recorded for this album appeared on Quadrophenia. They appeared on albums after Quadrophenia.
Yes, exactly.
So it's kind of like, we were talking about this pre-stage or pre-show that, in the 60s, they were kind of like the Mods, right? And then they did Tommy, and then they did Who's Next, where it was more like I don't know, they were kind of like they were like the punks. They weren't the Mods, And then Quadrophenia comes out after that, and it takes them all the way back to the Mods. So was this something that Pete Townsend had in his mind, that he was going to do it in this, or it just happened that way? For me, listening all the way through, I mean, I love Who's Next. It's short, it's compact, and it's almost a perfect album. But for me, Quadrophenia is my favorite Who album. I don't know. I just relate to that somehow with just some of the certain songs. So it's like the real me and the bass in that was just like, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
That's like one of my favorite Who songs.
For me, Live at Leeds is my favorite Who album.
Okay.
Just because it's so heavy and it's so crunchy and it's so just
raw.
It's so raw and it's balls deep.
That's where they were the best. When everything was raw.
Yeah, for real.
Because that's the type of band that they were. But this album, if you take out the digital parts, you take out the keyboard parts and stuff like that, it's a very raw album. It's very raw and it's very heavy. Certain songs are very heavy. Certain songs are mellow. It's a good combination of all their songs. It's kind of like their Led Zeppelin 4,
It really is. And it's funny that we mentioned this after we did the Led Zeppelin 4 review, because it is so similar, right? When they did We'll Get Fooled Again, or also known as Teenage Wasteland for some people, that was done at
Bubba O'Reilly and Teenage Wasteland.
Right, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
But when they did Won't Get Fooled Again, they didn't record that in a studio. They used the Rolling Stones mobile studio again.
Well, that was the first song that they recorded for this album. It's the first song they recorded. They didn't know what was going on this album, but it was the first song they recorded, and they recorded in the Rolling Stones mobile studio. At
Mick Jagger's place.
Yes.
Which is interesting. Again, you see how everything intertwines, everyone? All these bands and all these different acts and groups and different people all come together to form this huge ball of creativity. It's amazing.
Exactly. Yeah.
It really is. Like, you'd think that the Rolling Stones and the Who would be a competition with each other, but they're not. They never were.
They're not. No,
And
they were all. I mean, back then, I think it was more of collaboration for each other. Hey, we
hey,
got
Ken.
this. You can use this. You know, there really wasn't competition. There might
No,
have been competition more in the UK, but America was like an open field. You can do whatever we do here and take it over to America, and let it go, and see what happens there. But it was just, I don't know. I think the Americans grasped the music coming from Britain more than Britain did. You know, it's kind of strange when you see like how album sales for certain groups do in the United States compared to Britain. Like they'll go, quadruple platinum here, while in Britain they're only gold, maybe platinum.
right. And they're
You know,
from Britain, which is the
yeah,
amazing thing, right?
it is kind of strange. Although there are different, sales for a platinum in the United States is still, I believe, it's 1 million copies. I don't know what it is in Britain, but it all bases it's all based on population and record sales that way. It might only be 250,000 albums sold for it to become platinum.
Goody makes a good point. He says, "Why is there even competition in music anyway?"
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I mean, I think everybody
Gives the
everybody
writers something to do. It's the
yeah,
writers
everybody
that
picks
do
from
that, right?
everybody else. That's what it comes down to. There's no, if you want to come down to it, all of rock is stolen from blues. Pretty much. If it
Mhm.
and the blues players are being like, well, I wrote that song, all right, that was my melody or that was my beat. Yeah, but that was back in the 20s and 30s, and nobody really remembers it, but it all came from the blues. The Brits were inspired by the United States blues, and they turned it into, they added their electric guitars and everything else to it, and it kind of went from there.
It did.
So yeah, and it kind of melded from like the 50s into the 60s from the United States and Britain, and it kind of all came together into what we now call is classic rock. Um,
Now, this one goes out to the audience. Does anybody
yep.
know what year the Who's Next came out? Without cheating, you can't look on the internet. You either know or you don't. Put it in the
I'm not
chat. Let
saying.
me know what you think.
I'm not saying. I'm just going to say I was 6.
Hey, Budget Rips, thanks for being here, man. Yeah,
Hey, budget.
the question is what year did Who's Next come out? We never said it yet, so I just want to know if anybody's paying attention. Good guess, Maynard. But no.
No.
And once you know, you won't get fooled again. Just saying.
That's right.
Okay, I'll see my way out. Try the salmon. We're here all week. There we go, Maynard. Maynard's got it. 71.
There you go. I was 6 years old when this came out.
68. Yeah. No, Sonny. Too far back, but 68. The Who. That was around the time. Yeah, that was Tommy. Yeah, exactly.
68, 69. I think 69. Tommy came out.
Yeah, and before that was the single era, right? With Magic Bus and
yeah, there were so many singles that they put out. Yeah, and they put out compilations of all their singles. They never really did an album until, was it Tommy? Was Tommy their first album? Real album that they did?
I should have checked that. I don't remember.
Let's see. I have wow.
It was My Generation. But it was released in the UK in 65.
Okay. All right.
Because in America, I think it was singles back then, but in the UK they did release that as a full length. But so this record here is the one that really
what is your biggest memory of this album?
Listening, I would say, okay, behind
Blue Eyes.
Yeah, Behind Blue Eyes. I heard that song. and it was actually at a friend's house. Their parents had it on, and I was probably 10 years old, 9, and I was like, "What the hell is this?"
Because it
Like
starts
this
off
is
with a very soft acoustic guitar and then
and it just
explodes.
comes in like a herd of like buffalo, and it
Mm-hmm.
just grabs you. So that one there was one that was really a real introduction to the Who. And then I discovered Live at Leeds. Then I discovered My Generation, and then I went backwards. But for
Mm-hmm.
me, it would be that one, and then of course, Bubba O'Reilly's a great track. Won't Get Fooled Again's a great track. Kiss does a cover of Bubba in the middle of one of their songs live, so they've always, paid homage to the Who. But there's for me, I was always into the older version of the Who, like the Magic Bus time.
Okay.
Magic Bus was, I love that so much. And
This
the
was the
early
first,
'60s stuff,
yeah, this was the first band that I identified with. The first band that I branched out on my own from, like my parents' music from Elvis and Buddy Holly and Chuck Berry and and this was the first band that I could call my own. And I remember, at the time, I guess I was maybe 10 years old. Now this album came out when I was 6. So I was 10 years old and I was at a mall with my parents and I'm going through the record albums and stuff like that. And I went right to the Who and I was looking for this particular album. It was right after my birthday. I had like $15 or something like that. So I knew I had enough money to buy the album. And I picked it up and I pulled it out and I'm looking at it and I flipped it over and I'm looking at the songs like I know that one. That's the only one I know. Okay. Well, and it was Bob O'Reilly. That's the only one that I knew. Teenage Wasteland. And that's the only one that I knew. And I'm like, so I'm looking at it forwards and backwards. And I just remember these two like teenage kids. I guess they were teen. I don't know. They were taller than me, and they go to me, well, what's somebody so young like you, looking at an album like that? And I said, well, I like the Who. Oh yeah, well, what songs do they sing? I said Teenage Wasteland. Like, no, it's Bob O'Reilly. I'm like, okay.
The gatekeepers, the gatekeepers always come out, don't they?
Yeah. So I said, well, I'm buying it. I like the song, and I'm going to find out what else is on there. And they're like, enjoy it. It's an awesome album. I was like, okay, cool. So I went up, I purchased it, brought it home on my little turntable. I put it on, and it was like, it was like almost like monotone to that little turntable.
Yeah.
And then I asked my parents, I said, can I play this on the big, the big turntable that we have, which was like a piece of furniture in there. They're like,
yeah,
okay,
the Victorola. Yeah.
Put it on, and I put it on, and Bob O'Reilly came on, and it started out with that keyboard, and they're like, they hear the song, they hear the words Teenage Wasteland. I'm like, what are you listening to?
Yeah.
Listening to the Who.
Yeah,
Teenage
you're being
Wasteland.
corrupted.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And I didn't know. I honestly didn't know until, like a few years ago that Bob O'Reilly was basically written about two of Pete Townshend's influences. You see, I'm going to try to find out where it is. And I probably won't be able to find out, but it was two people that he was influenced by. And I'm not going to find it because I've got so many tabs open. This is
it was one of the guy was a spiritual guru, and the other guy was Terry O'Reilly, wasn't it?
Terry O'Reilly, who did a lot of musical work, but short little composures. And the other one was a guy from an Indian.
Yeah, it's a spiritual guru. I can't remember his name though.
It was something Baba, but this is the problem with having way too many screens open and all that other stuff. But that's what it was about. And I just closed one of my screens. Oh, great. But Yeah, but he featured the piano and synthesizer produced processed Lowry organ by Townsend. Townsend did all of that. There we go. Meher Baba, that's who it was.
Yes.
And minimalist composer Terry Riley. Um, but it was, the song was informally known as Teenage Wasteland because it never said Bob O'Reilly through the entire song. So
No, they
everybody just
didn't.
assumed it was Teenage Wasteland.
Yeah.
Um, so so that was the one that I played for my parents first, and then I said, do I have to take it off? They're like, no, let's see what else is there. So
I'm intrigued, son. Sit down.
yeah. So then I started playing. I just kind of went through it as you know, uh, the track listing and stuff like that. So it was Bob O'Reilly was the first one, and then it came to a bargain, which I never heard before, and they're like, well, that's a pretty good song. Okay, we kind of like that, and Loving for Keeping, and then My Wife, and it says they're like, is somebody else singing that? I said, yeah, I guess so. I didn't know John Entwistle sung it at the time. And then the song is over, which is a nice kind of a soft song, for that. And then side two is, I think, the better side of this album. Getting in Tune by Daltrey sang that. Going Mobile, Pete Townsend, then Behind Blue Eyes. And then, of course, the classic, the one song that stands for, they sang My Generation, but this is the one song that stands for every generation. Won't Get
Yep.
Fooled Again.
The old boss is the same
It
as the new
is
boss.
it is so relevant now
Yes.
as it was then when they recorded it in 1971. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and my dad listened to that song with me, and he's like listening to the lyrics, and he's like, wow, they are, no, he said they are, it is so spot on. It's like, and he wanted to start learning about the Who, so my dad started I actually influenced my dad into a band because of that song.
That's
you know
interesting because my
yeah.
parents, my mom was more the hippie. My dad wasn't into the Who much, and they didn't have that at home. I think they had Live at Leeds, and they had Connected by Numbers.
Oh, the Who by Numbers.
Yeah,
Yep.
that one, and that was it. There wasn't a whole lot. I got into them more because of my cousin was into them. They were older, and they were more into that kind of music, and that's how I got into them towards after the initial discovery. But it's interesting because the initial vocal for Bubba O'Reilly is actually John Entwistle and Roger Daltrey together.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's funny because you get that Townsend crunch, that Townsend guitar riff that just, oh my God, it just grabs you and just drops you on your head,
Yeah.
But here's a question for the chat. If you're still all here and you're not all asleep, and if you are, great, I appreciate it. But here's a question: the synthesizer intro for Bubba O'Reilly, is it a loop or is it played all together? That's the question. Let me know in the chat what you think. And you can't look this up. You either know or you don't. And then I want to talk about the album cover for a minute. Then I'm going to talk about some more of the singles. But because Mike grew up with this record, it was 2 years before I was born, so I came at this late. So it's interesting to get that perspective from somebody who grew up with it. So that's awesome, and I appreciate it. Yes,
you're
Sonny, you're right. Yeah. It was not looped. It was played all together. So Sidney Cat's got it. Maynard's got it as well. He did it with the ARP, with Reel to Reel as well, which is kind of cool. I almost got a Reel to Reel the other day, but it's not working, and I don't really have the time, the patience, or the money to restore it. But they do look cool. No, it's not, because you can tell the subtle changes and the key changes over the course of that little passage of music. So
there's very subtle changes in there. And if it was a loop, it would be the same thing every 10 seconds or something like that.
yeah,
But
exactly.
you hear every 10 seconds, there's just a little something added in there.
Yeah, there's an extra key, there's an extra
that you
note, it goes
didn't
up or
catch.
down.
Right.
And one thing you'll notice about Bubba O'Reilly, if you just want to talk about that for a second, right when that starts, you have, the intro, and then right after that, you hear John Entwistle coming in with that bass, man, and he just coming in like a force of nature. And
it kind of comes in stages,
Yeah, it does. And then he does that.
The drums, the guitar. What is it? Guitar, bass, and drums, or is it bass, guitar, and drums?
Bass first, guitar, then drums.
Guitar, then drums. Yeah.
And then Roger Daltrey and him sing, and then we get that primal scream from Townsend. It makes it right. It just grabs you and it takes you. But the album cover takes me. This album cover is something else, man. And now that it's on the screen, then we'll take it off when we're done talking about the album cover a little bit. But this album cover, if you look at it, there's so much to unpack with this album cover, right? You notice the water staining on the monolith. We'll talk about that briefly without getting shadow banned by YouTube. But the cover shot was made by a man named Ethan Russell. And it was a reference to the monolith in the film 2001: A Space Odyssey by Stanley Kubrick. And it was a concrete piling, and it was in a slag heap in South Yorkshire, England. And apparently they, quote unquote, urinated against it.
Only one of them did.
Yes. And the rest of it was
the other one's got stage fright, so they couldn't.
You're right. So they used water and reel-to-reel film can to simulate the drip on the wall.
Right.
And then
who was the only one that could urinate on? Put it in the chat. Who's the only one that did urinate?
Who's the only one that was able to do the deed? Okay, sorry, YouTube. Don't shut me down. This is for discussion and educational purposes only.
We're saying urinator. We're saying the correct term.
Rest in peace, Keith Moon, you crazy guy.
I would have thought it would have been Keith Moon first. Yeah,
exactly. Me too. That's what I
had 3 bottles of scotch just before they went to shoot it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I appreciate that, Chris. Appreciate the translation there in American English. I appreciate it. Oh my gosh. We'll give it another second. While we're waiting for that, in 2003, if everybody remembers VH1, back when music was on TV from time to time, not just ridiculous reality TV, they named the Who's Next as one of the greatest covers of all time. I think it was number 77 in their top 100 list. Again, it's an epic record, right? And if anybody wants to see the back of it, here, we'll show you the back. It was that. There's a cool image there as well. This is the original UK printing of the record. I couldn't get it to zoom in any better. I'm sorry.
I remember that. It looked like Keith Moon was getting ready to hurl.
Yes, and it was supposed to be the original album cover art was supposed to be Keith Moon dressed up as a woman. And they scrapped that. They scrapped that at the last minute. So, for obvious reasons. See, that's the thing with the Who. Here, we'll take this down. They were trailblazing, whether they were doing the sound, different layers, different production techniques. They were bad boys. They were, destroying their equipment. They were the anti-establishment band. That's what they really, I think, really came with. Even the my generation version of the Who, they were anti-establishment, and they carried that all throughout the whole time. And I always respected that. And I think that was Pete Townsend that really was the driving force behind that. What do you think? Do you think Pete Townsend was the driving force behind the Who?
Pete Townsend definitely was.
Or do you think it was Entwistle?
I think it was. No, I think it was more Townsend because he did more of the composing of the music and writing of the lyrics. I don't know how. Like, I know how Rush does it. It's like Neil wrote all the lyrics, and then Geddy and Lee put the music towards it, and then Neil did his drum parts. How was it with the Who?
Yeah.
I mean, Pete composed the music, and he wrote all the lyrics. Did Daltrey have any input in it, or
Yeah,
did
he
you
did.
know?
He did a lot of the lyrical content and the versing and the choruses. Was
Yeah.
Daltrey, and where Townsend would come up with the guitar riff and the bridge and
Mhm.
and sort of all of that. But My Wife was actually written by John Entwistle.
That
About
was
his
by
wife.
Entwistle. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
100% him. But did like Pete Townsend would start playing something on guitar, and then Keith Moon would come in with a drum beat, and Entwistle would come in with a bass riff. How did it work? I think
Exactly.
that's the one thing that I want to know, how it worked. Did Pete put out the framework for a song and everybody else come in and say, hey, let's do it this way, and Pete said okay, or did he have final say on it?
I think it really depends on who you ask. Because if you ask Pete Townsend, he was the center of the world, and the center of all revolution and everything that revolved around the earth. But Roger Daltrey was a huge piece of that band. Like, even if you look at the second side of that record, 3 of the 4 songs are completely written by Roger Daltrey.
Okay.
So that says a lot too. Like, the partnership between the two. But like, John Entwistle was one hell of a bass player, man. Lead bass, like, pioneered the technique of the 3-fret rule, where, if you're playing bass, and Mike, this, a lot of bass players, if they're really talented, will play either 3 frets up or above the note to give it more melody, more oomph, more thickness. He was the one that started that. You can even tell with Bubba O'Reilly how he would play those little bass solos in the middle of a song that were just like,
Well, you could tell it back with My Generation. My God.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Unreal. And the way that he could make that Rickenbacker, do what it did. It was, you didn't hear bass like that.
No, you didn't. It was more of a lead bass player.
Yeah, you never heard bass as a lead, doing a lead solo in a song, because that's what it was.
No, I think the only one that would be, and I think the only one that would be close to that would be John Paul Jones from Led Zeppelin. He played his bass the same way, very, very out in front, not behind. He always was in front of the band, not behind the band.
Chris Squire was another one.
Absolutely. So to answer your question, it was Pete Townsend. It was the only one that could pee on the concrete.
Yes, it was.
For those of you who
all the rest got failed to,
they did. So they had to use water dripping over a canister from a reel-to-reel, which I think is an interesting little bit. But here's an interesting little factoid as well. Won't Get Fooled Again was released June 25th, 71.
That was the first single.
Bubba O'Reilly and Behind Blue Eyes were released simultaneously in October, one in the UK and one in America, which is an interesting little strategy there. They only released 3 singles. I figured like Bargain would have been a good single for that record too.
That would have been but you know what? It got picked up on FM radio. That got picked up.
That's true.
That was a big FM radio song, and so was Going Mobile. I think I heard every song on this album on FM radio except for one song, and that was Love Ain't for Keeping. That's the only song. Yep, that's the only song I didn't hear on FM radio in the 70s and the 80s, especially when the Who were coming back for their first of many farewell tours in 1980. But that summer, I mean, they played in September, and that summer was nothing but the Who on the radio. That was it. I mean, you name it, every song was in there, on there. Okay, so yeah, it actually says here, when you're looking at the track listing and you're seeing, on side 2 where Daltrey, Townsend, Daltrey, there, that was only the singing. Pete Townsend wrote all the songs except for My Wife. Entwistle was the one that wrote that.
That's true. So if Daltrey got the credit for it, then he was obviously the lyrics. That would have to be, that's where the songwriting credit would go to, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, lead vocal was Daltrey on Getting in Tune Behind Blue Eyes and Won't Get Fooled Again, but Pete Townsend actually wrote those songs, so I don't know if he actually got some writing credit in there or not for that. But
I would have to refer back to the record, which I don't have anymore. So I do apologize if it isn't quite as accurate as it could have been.
Well, you know what? I apologize too, because about 15 years ago, I told Kelly, Pat's oldest daughter, you can take any album you want. She wanted albums for her turntable and stuff like that. So she took a good stack of albums. And if I would have known 15 years ago that I would be doing something like this, I would have held on to all those albums. So now she has them and is enjoying them. She's got all my Bowie albums. She got most of my Who albums. No, I did keep. I don't even know if I keep. I don't even know if I kept my favorite Who album. I think she might have that too, or it's somewhere. I gotta find it. It's got to be somewhere.
Yes, the Who must be found.
Yes,
you must look for the Who.
I must go through Whoville and find it. Well, the Eagles lost. I don't know how they lost 21-0, lost 24-21 to those scabs.
That's not good.
Whatever.
No, that's not good at all. Yeah. No, well, hey, I had the same issue with the Bills, so I'm not going to throw rocks in a glass house here. But I think, to me, this album stands on its own as one of the best early 70s records. When you think, Maynard mentioned it earlier, the Kinks were out around that time too, big pioneer into that heavy 70s sound. It's another great band, the Kinks. Purple was out around that time as well. Mm-hmm. The Stones were huge.
Zeppelin was huge. Pink Floyd was huge. It's just like a bubble of those years from like 1969 to 1973 that will never be touched again. Ever.
No.
Ever.
And Zeppelin's first 3 records, Mountain, another great band. Yes, another band that doesn't get talked about enough. Another band that doesn't get talked enough about is Mountain. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Good luck finding the records too. They're expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Now, well, I should say that now because there's all these reissues, but before, when you couldn't get reissues, those were the ones that were hard to get. Yeah. Early Moody Blues stuff, early Electric Prunes, early Floyd, early Purple, so hard to get. But now they're just reissuing everything, so it's more attainable for the casual listener. Before it wasn't, you couldn't get it. So that's our sort of thoughts on the Who's Next record. And again, if you're interested in how this evolved, look up the Lifehouse. I want to say saga, but I think what was his plan? There's like 11 box set record coming out. The Lifehouse project or the Lifehouse collection he was talking about. It sounds like Townsend is really struggling to move this idea of his forward. Like there's so many different iterations of this. It'd be interesting to see what his final vision is of it. But there's lots to look at. There's lots to dig into.
I mean, if I were Pete, I would just, I know it's probably like sorting a bunch of baseball cards and getting them organized. All right, how are you going to do it? You're going to do it by team. You're going to do it by player. You're going to do it by this, that, or the other thing. And he's probably got all these songs, and he's like, well, how am I going to do this? Is this going to be, episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, or whatever? Where's it all going to fit? How's it going to tie in, and how's it going to make sense? That's what it comes down to.
Now, yes. Do you remember before when we were backstage, we were saying, what album could we do next week? And I was thinking, I'm not sure which one. And if you look at the chat, a couple of the guys are mentioning the MC5. I would love to talk about the MC5 myself. They're great. I have Back in the USA, fellas, if anybody wants to talk about that record. I don't have Kick Out the Jams anymore because somebody helped liberate it from my collection without my prior written knowledge and sold it on me. But the MC5 would be something we'll certainly talk about it at some point.
I'm going to have to take a look at that.
Wayne Kramer was great. The Motor City 5 came out of Detroit.
Motor City 5. Wow.
And they were late 60s, early American heavy metal, punk rock, hard rock, blues. Oh my gosh, they're great, man. So many people cite the MC5 as an influence to them, especially if they're into hardcore punk or.
So they were 63 to 72, 74 to 75, and 92 to 2000. Huh.
Yeah. Wayne Kramer was the guy. Yeah, he was the guy. Motor City Burning is talk about the riots in Detroit, and there's a lot of politics involved with what they're saying about. And,
all right, so cool. if we're going to go through MC5, do we go through an album or do we just go through them in general? And what songs should I be looking for?
Well, we can look into it. I'm just thinking, spitballing it because I do have some of the records here we can talk about.
I'm always up for new stuff, stuff that I haven't heard of.
And, they're just great. So, yeah, in general, sure. Maynard, okay. Goody, what do you think? In general, just talk about the band, the MC5, and we'll show a record or two. I think that'd be a great one for next week.
Because I got 7 days to catch up on this.
Hey, Yoda, thanks for coming in.
Hey, Yoda.
We were talking about the Who and who's next. I know we were a little late. We're starting an hour earlier on this show, so 7 Eastern. But I really appreciate you being here, Guru. Hopefully you're doing okay in your health and you're keeping up with your stuff and everything's going well in your world. Great guy, huge help when I first started YouTube, and super kind, generous person for sure. Goody, I think you're right. I think Mike, I think you're right. Maynard, I think it's been decided.
Okay.
Gavel has been struck. It will be the MC5.
Okay, we'll do it. Something new for me. Something I probably heard before, but just haven't heard in a long time.
Oh yeah, you've heard Rambling Rose before. You've heard Kick Out the Jams. Yeah, you've heard some of their stuff before. Motor City Burning. Yeah, you've heard some of their stuff. Really raw, really heavy, really good. Hey, Ken C, I know you'd be down for this. You want to talk about the MC5 next week? Hell yeah. Thanksgiving weekend coming up to all of my American friends, including yourself. Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving, my friend. And hopefully everybody has a great time with their family and gets to, enjoy some turkey or ham or whatever you're into. Or cheater chicken if you feel like doing a cheater chicken.
We're actually doing our Thanksgiving on Sunday, believe it or not, because let's see, when you have a child and they come from a divorced family, so that means 1-2 families, and then they marry somebody that comes from a divorced family, that's 3-4 families, and then they have friends and they want to do a Friendsgiving, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're the last ones. Yeah. They're not going to have turkey on Sunday because they've had turkey. They had enough. Yeah. So we're just going to do all kinds of Italian food. We're doing lasagna.
Not a boy.
Pasta, meatballs, and all that good kind of stuff. That's what we're doing on Sunday.
I love it, man. I have
to make stuffing because Pat and I love stuffing, so we're definitely still making the stuffing. Yeah, even though she's a vegetarian, she can't eat.
Preach to the choir, dude. Preach to the choir. Like nothing touches the stuffing, man. It's solid. So I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving and is able to join us next Sunday. And when they're all turkeyed out, and the Turkey Tour 2026, we'll talk about MC5 and a couple of really key influential punk albums that they had done. And it's because you guys are driving some of this stuff. So thanks, Goody. Thanks, Maynard, for the idea.
Definitely.
Zach as well. Sydney Cat, thank you for your wonderful support. Danielle, NPP, Zach, Dewey, everybody, man. I appreciate y'all being here. Again, yes, Budget Rips. He's a Michigan guy. He knows kick out the jams. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And there's another great band from Detroit called Death. That was not the metal band Death, but an earlier punk band called Death. And they were great. A great band. Like, like the Motor City had a lot of great bands come out of there, not just Motown, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, so many great punk bands and hardcore bands and metal bands. And so I can't wait. It's going to be fun. You guys rock. Mike, you rock. Thanks for coming in and hanging out with me again. You're the man, bro.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Budget Rips, you're the man. I appreciate it. Same Maynard. Maynard was my first subscriber on this channel. First subscriber ever.
There we go.
Kitchen. Appreciate you. Thanks, guys. We'll see y'all next week.
All right.
Hopefully you have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you for all the